All right, Gator. Jackson Jobe, Tigers' top prospect. Back injury, 2021 first round pick, diagnosed with lumbar spine inflammation and will be shut down from 3 to 6 months for beginning a rehab program. There's a good chance that he will miss the entire year. He's 20 years old. And this could be bad luck. It could be a little bit of going back to a previous regime that maybe didn't read all the warning signs as it pertains to pitching injuries. I don't know if this is related at all. I got stories. This one could be completely, not a sign of that. It could be completely independent of that. But Gator, what do you make of this?
It's a back injury as opposed to an arm event.
Exactly.
And if I'm correct in this is basically giving them some rest, and then they're going to try. It's not surgical repair, correct?
I didn't see any more details. I don't think so.
Yeah, it didn't seem like this was a surgery. This is like, okay, we're going to try to treat this with rest and some exercises, and maybe he can build the strength up, and it's not an issue within the next 3 to 6 months. Like they want to do everything they can to avoid going under the knife, is what it sounds like. But it also doesn't sound good.
No.
He took this fireballer out of high school, and he's had some ups and downs in his year in the minors. But, we're just coming off a season where so many Tigers pitchers had arm injuries. And it seems like it always happens, but with the Tigers lately, it's everyone. Every single pitcher on that roster feels like of consequence. These young guys they drafted, they've all been riddled with arm injuries. And you just want to get through it because, okay, if you get through this, are they done with the arm injuries? And once they get through it, you hope.
Yeah.
But this one's not an arm injury. This one's a back injury.
So, look, I've told this story on the air a number of times, and it dates back to when Michael Fulmer there was talk after his Rookie of the Year season about trading him for a haul. And I was in favor of it. And the reason I was in favor of it was because I had somebody in the game that said, look, I think it happened to Garrett Cole. Is that the name? But there are pitchers that have a certain delivery that dramatically increases their likelihood of an arm injury. And the Tigers had traded for Michael Fulmer. So there was that. Then there was also when they drafted Casey Mize, the same guy told me Casey Mize is same thing. And it has a lot to do with where your arm is when your front foot lands. And I mean, I'm oversimplifying it, but it was clear that the previous regime didn't care. They were willing to take the risk. Jackson Jobe, this may have nothing to do with that. But am I surprised that a pitcher drafted by previous regimes is injured? I'm not. So, that's it could be completely unrelated. I will admit that.
If this were another arm injury, it's one you shake your head and go, "Come on, are you serious?" I mean, I'm doing it anyway because it's just another injury, but it's not an arm injury. I feel like maybe it's different. Although it could be related to the delivery. I don't know, or it could be maybe he picked up a box wrong. I have no idea what the reason is for the inflammation.
248-539-9797. We haven't heard that it's Guitar Hero. Let's go.
No.
Let's go to Matt. You're on 97 the ticket. Hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. So for me, this is like kind of a gift, quote unquote, from the last regime because, if you pay attention to the baseball draft, I know most people don't. I get that. They were supposed to take Marcelo Meyer. That was what everyone thought. He fell to their lap. They took a college or a high school pitcher instead, which is kind of a no-no. So now when he's starting shortstop for the Red Sox in a couple of years, we get to watch him for 10 years while Jobe does nothing and continues to get injured and probably never makes it because high school pitchers almost never make it. It sucks.
Well, I'm not rooting for Jobe to do nothing. I will tell you that. I mean, quite frankly, most draft picks never do nothing. But there are some hit rates for sure. There are some hit rates for sure to pay attention to. And they had. I'm not ready to call Jobe a failure, but they clearly had deemed it to be worth the risk. And this is not a good direction that this is going for sure. And
100%. I don't wish him ill at all. I'm with you. I hope he's successful and part of the Tigers' future. But there's a reason the high school pitchers. And I'm with you. You kind of said this yesterday. Shouldn't have rules in the draft. I agree with that. You should go and do the best you can. Each situation, play out itself. But the high school pitcher thing is real. And I know it's not an arm, it's a back, but man, it's tough to watch a guy like that, who, when you had those top picks and you're a bad organization, which they were, it's so hard to see him miss.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost like you draft guys that have already had their arm event, then you draft them.
Right. I mean, they traded for one in Fulmer, didn't stop him. And, of course, he had a recurrence. Casey Mize, I was told this is a delivery that runs a high risk of injury. They drafted him anyway. But you're right, Gator. It felt like virtually everybody, and that's previous regime stuff. At some point, if we ever get a chance to have a one-on-one with Scott Harris, I'm going to ask him about this.
Well, and Dylan Dingler, he's another one that's going to be out for a while. The catcher they drafted a couple years ago out of Ohio State has shown some promise. He's out with an injury. It sucks, man. You're tired of hearing about the younger guys, the prospects that are delayed again in getting their career going and having a chance at making the big leagues.